Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Upon hearing this, Zhenghai's eyes brightened. He hastily said, "If that's truly him, I want to meet him. Wise brother, I'll be back." As soon as he finished speaking, he prepared to fly out of the flying chariot. Wuya quickly grabbed Zhenghai's arm before he said, "Eldest senior brother, we should prioritize the bigger picture here." At this moment, the Nether Sect was about to completely conquer Yu province. They had the upper hand. Although their momentum was akin to running a hot knife through butter, there were many elites hiding inside the divine capital. Nobody could say when an elite would suddenly show up. When that time comes, without an 8-leaf cultivator such as Zhenghai taking charge, the tides of the battle could be reversed. The 8 great generals of the divine capital and the elites who lived in the divine capital were no pushovers. With Zhenghai here, they could rest assured. Zhenghai sighed helplessly. What a shame. Hua Chongyang. Yes, sect master. Go and help this friend of ours. If it's possible, I'd like to have a drink with him. We'll drink to our heart's content at that time. Zhenghai said. Yes, sect master. Hua Chongyang leaped off the flying chariot and moved at lightning speed. He did not hesitate and summoned his 7-leaf avatar. Upon seeing Hua Chongyang's avatar, the garrison cultivators were scared out of their wits. They hurriedly scrambled away. Little did they know, they were not Hua Chongyang's target. Hua Chongyang moved toward the southern city gate. In just a few breaths, his 7-leaf avatar charged into the roiling primal chi airwave. Yu Shangrong saw the 7-leaf avatar charging toward him from the corners of his eyes. He shook his head and murmured, "Boring." Then, he intentionally slowed down the speed of his energy swords. Bam. 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 Xiao Shan's ferocious energy landed on him. Yu Shangrong reeled back. "Senior." Hua Chongyang cried out despite himself. He was being extremely respectful by addressing Yu Shangrong as senior. Although he was a 7-leaf nascent divinity realm cultivator, he did not dare to act impudently in front of a 5-leaf cultivator who had severed his lotus. At this moment, he had not seen Yu Shangrong's face yet. Yu Shangrong rode on the momentum as he retreated. His avatar faded away as he flew toward the forest outside the city. Hua Chongyang shouted, "Open." His 7-leaf avatar grew to its biggest size at once. It dispersed the storm of primal chi before it shrank in size again. Hua Chongyang looked down. Xiao Shan, who was currently falling to the ground, had already been dealt with. He joined his palms together and made several hand signs as he said, "The Taishu Academy's Xiao Shan? You refused to walk on heaven's path but chose to rush to hell instead? Looks like the lesson Senior Ji taught you isn't enough." Bam. 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 Several palm seals shot out and landed on Xiao Shan's chest. Boom. Xiao Shan crashed onto the ground. Hua Chongyang did not even look at Xiao Shan as he sped toward the forest south of the city. In just a blink of an eye, he had entered the forest. The surroundings were silent. Apart from faint primal chi lingering in the air, there was no trace of the senior. "He's fast," Hua Chongyang muttered to himself as he recalled his avatar. He looked at the forest before him and hesitated. In the end, he did not proceed further into the forest. He cupped his fists together and projected his voice, "My sect master admires you, senior. He sent me here to invite you to our quarters to have a chat with him. Will you accept the invitation, senior?" The forest was as quiet as ever. There was no reply. Hua Chongyang knew his place. An elite who managed to recultivate to the 5-leaf stage after severing his lotus would not be a weakling. It would be futile even if he gave chase. After a while, he said, "Your sword skills are amazing, senior. It's on par with the Evil Sky Pavilion's Mr. Second, if not better. It's a shame that I'm not fortunate enough to meet you." I'll be taking my leave now. When he finished speaking, he left at a blinding speed. The forest was as silent as ever. A moment later, Hua Chongyang returned to the area and searched for a moment while hovering in midair. He's gone. Hua Chongyang sighed helplessly. He turned around and flew toward Yu Province City. Behind a huge tree in the silent forest below, Yu Shangrong carried his longevity sword and murmured, crude acting skills and boring tricks. Then, he pressed his chest to stabilize the chaotic flow of primal qi inside his Dantian sea of qi. A 5-leaf cultivator was only a 5-leaf cultivator, after all. Against the 7-leaf Xiao Shan, it was shocking enough that he managed to break Xiao Shan's Dantian sea of qi and escape with his life intact. Perhaps, he was used to being an 8-leaf cultivator, he had gone slightly overboard this time. Yu Shangrong gripped his longevity sword tightly and smiled faintly. There's no need to rush. I'll return to the peak soon enough. After returning to the flying chariot, Hua Chongyang bowed at Yu Zhenghai and said, Sect Master, I couldn't catch up with him. That mysterious elite is too fast. Yu Zhenghai said, clearly displeased, Chongyang. You've been slacking off lately. Have I not been treating you well? Hua Chongyang fell to one knee and said, I dare not. I am useless. See Wuya said, eldest senior brother, you can't blame brother Chongyang for this. How can an elite who has recultivated to the 5-leaf stage be easily caught? Yu Zhenghai nodded. You have a point, wise brother. Hua Chongyang felt frustrated as well. He felt as though he was experiencing bad luck that was accumulated from 8 lifetimes. It was one thing for him to fail his mission at the Heaven Worship platform, but he even brought Senior Ji to their branch, resulting in his sect master being beaten. Additionally, it was slightly unacceptable that he was not able to catch up to a 5-leaf cultivator. Yu Zhenghai helped Hua Chongyang up and said, You've worked hard. Hua Chongyang was moved. He said immediately, I'll do better. At this moment, Si Wuya pointed at the city and said, We're at the general's mansion. Eldest senior brother. It all depends on you now. The others looked down at the general's mansion instinctively. The Nether Sect members had already surrounded the general's mansion. Based on Si Wuya's calculations, Ji Qingqing should have shown up on the battlefield a while ago. However, up until now, she had not made an appearance. Soon after, Yu Hong, the Green Azure Hall's second seat, rose into the air. He bowed and said, The general's mansion is empty, sect master. There's no one inside? Yu Zhenghai frowned slightly. Si Wuya pondered on this for a moment before he said, They're rather tactful. It's no wonder our progress has been smooth. Ji Qingqing has given up on Yu province early on and fled during the night. Yu Zhenghai was invigorated upon hearing this. The Nether Sect members on the flying chariot bowed. Congratulations on conquering Yu province, sect master. Early next morning. Inside the purple bamboo forest north of Yu province. Ji Qingqing, one of the 8 great generals, sat in a stately manner among the bamboo. Her 4 deputies kept watch around her. General, Yu province has fallen. I see. Ji Qingqing raised the water skin to her mouth and drank. Then, she slowly rose to her feet. She looked in Yu province's direction. There did not seem to be any strong emotions on her face. It's getting late. Should we make a move, General? There's no rush. Let's wait for a while more, Ji Qingqing replied. Wait? Her 4 deputy generals were puzzled. Since they had given up on Yu province, why were they not leaving? Fleeing the battlefield is a crime worthy of the death penalty. General, there's something that I don't understand. It's only meaningless resistance, Ji Qingqing said. At this moment, a green-robed swordsman wielded his sword as he slowly walked toward them from the northern edge of the purple bamboo forest. The 4 deputy generals' faces fell. They immediately drew closer to Ji Qingqing and unsheathed their swords. Ji Qingqing glanced at the green-robed swordsman and said, Stand down. General? I know what I'm doing, Ji Qingqing said. The 4 of them retreated behind her. Ji Qingqing faced the green-robed swordsman from a distance. You're here. I made a promise with someone. I can't possibly go back on my words. The green-robed swordsman smiled faintly. Ji Qingqing said, I kept my promise to you. I hope you'll hold up your end of the bargain. Yu Shangrong said, what I say, I'll do. What I do, I'll carry through. Since you left Yu province, you're no longer on my list. Upon hearing this, the 4 deputies figured out the identity of the green-robed swordsman. Recently, there was a sword path elite who had been imitating the evil Sky Pavilion's Mr. Second in Yu Province City by making a hit list. Ji Qingqing and her right deputies were all on the list. Her remaining 4 deputies had difficulty eating and sleeping in peace because of this. They did not expect the green-robed swordsman to be that mysterious elite. Do you know why I promised you that I'd leave Yu province? Ji Qingqing asked with a smile. I'd like to hear it. Because your every move, the way you go about doing things, the style of your speech and movements, resemble someone I admire deeply, Ji Qingqing said bluntly. Ji Qingqing glanced at him and continued to say, perhaps, you think that someone like me, who's used on the battlefield, has a heart of stone and won't be easily moved. That isn't the truth. He's the only man who's worthy of Ji Qingqing. He's the only one who fits my image of a man. However, he's from the evil Sky Pavilion, and we're an ill fit. Your expression seems unnatural. Are you looking down on me? Under normal circumstances, it was considered inappropriate for a woman to publicly talk about the man she admired. Yu Shangrong remained silent. Ji Qingqing said, forget it. You won't understand even if I tell you about it. Yu Shangrong only smiled faintly in response to her words. If it weren't for him, do you think I'd leave Yu province so easily? Don't think I listened to you and left just because you resemble him. Yu Zhenghai is his eldest senior brother, after all. If I kill Yu Zhenghai, he would hate me for life. Ever since Yu Shangrong challenged the elites from the various paths with his sword, he had gained a strong following of admirers. His fan base consisted of 8-leaf elites to common civilians of all gender and age. However, those who had seen his face were few and far in between. Those who were worthy of facing him in a battle usually did not live to tell the tale. All right, I've said enough. I should get going now, Ji Qingqing said. Wait, Yu Shangrong said. What? Ji Qingqing asked. You seem to have great taste in men. Because of that, I'll give you one piece of advice. Yu Shangrong paused for a beat before he pointed to one of the deputy generals on Ji Qingqing's left with his scabbard and said, kill him. The deputy general trembled and took a step back. Ji Qingqing frowned. She did not know what Yu Shangrong meant. Since you're fleeing from the battlefield, the people around you should only be your trusted subordinates. In any case, that's just my suggestion. It's up to you to kill him or not. Yu Shangrong smiled faintly. In other words, this person next to Ji Qingqing was a mole? Ji Qingqing looked at the indifferent expression on Yu Shangrong's face and the deputy general who had been by her side for many years. Logically, she should trust her subordinate. However, for some unknown reason, she felt the green-robed swordsman standing before her was more trustworthy at this moment. Zhou, the deputy general, bowed at once. General, don't listen to his lies. The sun and the moon can attest to my unwavering loyalty. Ji Qingqing frowned. Her energy surged from her body as she looked at Zhou. She asked in a deep voice, Zhou, the divine capital are strangely privy to my movements. Did you leak the information to them? General. Give me a reason to believe you. There were many things in the world that could not be explained. Let alone a woman had spent much of her time on a battlefield, even spouses who lived together for decades would have trust issues if the tiniest hint of an affair reached their ears. Swoosh. Without a second word, Zhou turned around and ran. Things might have turned out differently if he remained calm. Alas, as soon as he fled, it was as good as admitting his crimes. Ji Qingqing shook her head with disappointment. She raised 2 fingers. Her sword was already unsheathed. Dozens of energy swords formed a ring that converged before herself. Whoosh. 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 Zhou was about to summon his avatar when the energy swords swept over him, piercing his chest. He did not even have a chance to defend himself. Soon enough, he dropped to the ground. Ji Qingqing turned around. With an indifferent expression on her face, she cupped her fists together and said to Yu Shangrong, "Thank you for the advice." "It's nothing," Yu Shangrong replied. Ji Qingqing took a liking to his polite and gentle manner, so she asked, "I'm not sure that I've gotten your name." Yu Shangrong turned around. He pushed away from the ground lightly and leaped into the purple bamboo forest. He projected his voice to her before vanishing in a blink of an eye. "My name's not worth mentioning. Take care. General?" A deputy general behind her bowed and said, "If I'm not mistaken, that person is the evil Sky Pavilion's Yu Shangrong." Ji Qingqing's eyes widened immediately. She hurriedly followed in Yu Shangrong's footsteps and searched the area. Alas, Yu Shangrong was nowhere to be found. Although Yu Shangrong had promised to spare her life, Ji Qingqing knew it was not because he liked her. Whether it was Prince of Qi's daughter, Qin Ruobing, Ji Qingqing, one of the 8 great generals, or any of his beautiful admirers, Yu Shangrong had never placed them in his eyes. This was how it was, and this was how it would always be. Half a month later. All 5 cities of Yu province were under the Nether Sect's control. At this moment, the major cultivation sects of Great Yen were in a period of absolute recuperation. Everyone was recultivating in earnest after severing their lotuses. Under the double threat of the evil Sky Pavilion and the Nether Sect, the cultivators from various sects refrained from taking part in the war. A month later, Qing province fell. 3 months later, Yang province fell. Currently, the Nether Sect had conquered 7 provinces. At the same time, the general public was sprouting leaves during their recultivation at an increasing speed. Inside the southern pavilion, the evil Sky Pavilion. Mingxirin furtively climbed up a branch. He looked at Duanmu Shang, who was silently cultivating at the edge of the cliff. "Third senior brother, from this day on, you're my hero. You've severed your lotus, and I have nothing but respect for you." Mingxirin gave Duanmu Shang a thumbs up. After their master began to cultivate in seclusion, Duanmu Shang decided to sever his lotus and recultivate. Moreover, he had personally severed his lotus. "Old Fourth, get down here. Just say what you want to say." "I don't have to go down," Mingxirin said. Duanmu Shang shook his head with a sigh and said, "Why aren't you severing your lotus?" "Why should I? That's only needed by someone who's attempting the 9-leaf stage." "I'm not planning to become a 9-leaf cultivator," Mingxirin replied. "There are many who can't even reach the 8-leaf stage their whole lives, and yet, they're severing their lotuses just because the others are doing it. They're crazy." Duanmu Shang scratched his head. Mingxirin's words sounded reasonable. If one could not even reach the 8-leaf stage, it was meaningless to sever the lotus. What was the point of severing one's lotus to attempt to reach the 9-leaf stage? Becoming a 6 or 7-leaf cultivator was difficult enough as it was, let alone an 8-leaf cultivator. They could have easily become core elders of most sections. However, the more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was off. He looked at Mingxirin and asked, "Old Fourth, are you making fun of me?" No, I'm not. I'm complimenting you, third senior brother. You can surely reach the 9-leaf stage." Mingxirin said. Duanmu Shang agreed with Mingxirin's words. He looked forward to becoming a 9-leaf cultivator. Then, he asked, "Why isn't 9th junior sister severing her lotus?" Mingxirin spread his arms. "The little ancestor doesn't want to. Who would dare to bother her about it?" That was true. In any case, there might not necessarily be a disadvantage to sever the lotus after you've reached the 8-leaf stage. The 4 elders are already on their way to sprouting the 4th leaf. Duanmu Shang was shocked when he heard this. He asked, "So soon?" Mingxirin shook his head and said, "Not really. When I wrote to 7th junior brother 3 months ago to notify him about Conk being our new little junior sister, 7th junior brother sent me a reply. Guess what he said?" When Duanmu Shang heard this, he frowned at once. "Just tell me everything you know. It's annoying when you leave me hanging." Seventh junior brother said there's a sword path elite who has already recultivated to the 5-leaf stage, Ming Shirin said. Duanmu Shang was utterly shocked. That man must have been an 8-leaf elite before he severed his lotus. It's shocking that he managed to recultivate so quickly. In my opinion, he must have sprouted another leaf during these 3 months. After all, it's much faster to sprout leaves when you're recultivating compared to when you're first cultivating to sprout leaves. I don't think the other sects are slow as well. Ming Shirin leaned on a tree trunk. He glanced out of the corner of his eyes. Where are you going, third senior brother? I'm going to cultivate under the waterfall. Don't disturb me if there's nothing important. Duanmu Sheng leaped in the air and vanished. Meanwhile, at a door of an unknown and dark hidden chamber in the imperial city, the divine capital. Greetings, grandfather. I'm Lu Ji. His voice sounded distant and deep. However, the door of the hidden chamber did not open. The imperial city is under threat. I sincerely request an audience, grandfather. A brief moment after Lu Ji said this, the stone door made a noise before it slowly opened. Creak. Lu Ji was delighted. He lifted his robe slightly and carefully stepped into the room. The hidden chamber was huge. It seemed to be another world of its own. There was everything inside the hidden chamber, including tomes, ancient booklets, handbooks on cultivation methods of the various sects, and an arsenal of weapons. An old man dressed in long robes sat languidly above a dais. He was the only one in the chamber. The only source of light shone on him. Grandfather. Lu Ji kneeled respectfully. The hidden chamber was extremely quiet. Lu Ji dared not speak recklessly. After some time, the old man finally opened his eyes. The world thinks that I've passed, and I no longer have anything to do with the affairs of the world. You're quite bold to do this. This old man was Lu Ge, Emperor Yong Shou. He was Emperor Yong Qing's father who had passed away. Lu Ji remained kneeling as he said in a trembling voice, "It's not my intention to disturb you, but the empire is in chaos at this moment. The evil Sky Pavilion's first disciple, Zhenghai, is rampaging through the lands and committing all sorts of crimes. Where's Lu Gu? Father. Although he's an 8-leaf cultivator, there's nothing he can do against the Nether Sect." Lu Ji said. Lu Gu frowned slightly. Then, he said with a sigh, "I'm no better than your father. Besides, I'm only a bag of old bones.